G'day, D-Mac. It's Sunday night. How are you? Not at church, I see.
Not at church. The Bible's not at church, but I'm a good boy. Not necessary today.
The fantasy Bible, according to one D-Mac. Bless up and welcome. We're just here to talk basketball, and because we chat. We've even said like it's like the half season lull. Like we feel occasionally like what, we're so dialed in. It gets a lot. But there's one thing that we like, and it's always appealing. There's just some sexy value.
There's always value, and some people just like a little bit like us, just waver off a little bit, lose focus, and that gives us opportunity to then dial in, get these guys, pick them up, or perhaps, like we're going to discuss a little bit later on, buy low and sell high.
This was one of our waiver picks last week in the show. I'll drop the 30 plus waiver show for fantasy in 5 tomorrow, but I picked up. I've called him Jeans since the preseason. Yegor Demon. It's just so close to denim. I can't unsee it.
Yes. But Demon. I've been watching a lot of him. It's got to be Yeoman. It's Yeoman.
It's Yeoman.
Yeah, we'll go with Yeoman. Yeah.
Yeoman. I'm going with Demon, but Yeoman is Igor. If you're Russian, Igor. He's been cooking. He was our waiver out of last week. He has been scintillating. I'm not going to sell high on that one. Just to preface it, he is not a sell high candidate. But he has been tremendous in the past week. In fact, the top-rated rookie, he's been absolutely cooking. So we're looking at players like that this week. But also, you're the king of just some cheeky maybe I should send a couple of trades out here and there. What's your goal of a buy low? And how do you not completely insult the manager you're trying to send that trade to? I guess is the other part of that.
Yeah, that's quite a skill. It's quite a talent, and sometimes they are going to be ridiculous. But it's got to be able to suit your build, obviously in a category build. Yeah. In a points league, it's a little bit tougher to be, I guess, less insulting. But I love a cheeky 2-for-1. But I think a lot of managers now in fantasy do see through that these days. I think back in the day, it was a lot easier to execute that, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible.
I think it's as well because of the nature of. To be fair, I think it's actually injuries. I just think keep on seeing the more that you are injured or the more that there are injury concerns, what I see is there's this prevalence to just be able to keep roster spots available to bring in a streamer for a game or two if you don't have IR. Like we're in leagues and our IR and our IL plus spots are completely booked. Yeah, and we're living off the waiver wire. So you can't exactly even make a 2-for-1 trade there because you've got to then drop one of those guys you've worked so hard to protect. And then that's your ego almost as well. I don't want to. I really believe in DeJounte Murray coming back still.
Yeah, and I know 1st of January was the date that we're all holding on to, and that's come and gone. And by all accounts, he's not really that close anyway. But like you said, often I talk about it on my shows, on the buy low shows. You do have to even target those managers that do have a prevalent amount of injuries already, and exploitation is what we're all about, isn't it, Matthew?
No, it's not. We're not completely all about exploitation, but we are. No. Yes, we are. We're open to navigating the rules to the best of our ability within our leagues, because that's what it's about. It's about getting an advantage. You're in a league with me, and you know that I love the big calculator. You know I love boobs. I got sent a trade for boobs because someone wanted a center, but they wanted a center that was good, that they could have rest of season value, and they wanted someone they could immediately put in IR, IL. This was about a week and a half ago. They're like, I just want to see a couple of other moves. So I'm like, I got sent OG Anunoby in this trade. And I said, who do you want? I could probably send you OG Anunoby. Send you Kalkbrenner. I can't remember. Vassell. I think it was just before Vassell went out because he was trying to sack his IR spots because he was almost empty. And he's like, no, I just want Kalkbrenner. And I'm like, sure, I'll take that trade. And an OG wasn't playing the best at the time. It was a bit of a buy low window on him. I know that you even said it was a buy low on OG Anunoby. But mate came back and he's been playing a little bit better. Kalkbrenner returned, split on the minutes limit. But I think we should start it off by talking about that. And by the way, we are live. If you do have any questions or trade advice, please jump in chat and make sure you also like and subscribe to Fantasy in 5 while you're here. You can check us out at NBA Fantasy in 5. This is the month that we're going to start giving away prizes, big prizes, including a Josh Giddey signed basketball. So that is one of them. We've got the first one of here. Let's start with your guys. Let's start with Guy Lowe. I know DMAC. I did mention I did mention the buy lows. This guy, you said, "Oh, geez, he's been bad lately." This is all time. This is bad. This is not. Let's say it's not going well for Karl Anthony Towns lately in New York. This guy was receiving return early in the season. In the last 2 weeks, he has fallen on down the rankings. Currently, he is at the 119th best player in fantasy. This is preach your gospel, sir.
Yeah, I think going into this season, he was a back-end first-rounder in drafts, and we knew going in, we even preached it as well, that the Knicks were guys that we thought were being overbought, and back-end of first round was a little bit too rich for us. He's settled in at back-end of second round, but you mentioned he's 117th in the last 2 weeks, even worse in the last week as well. So there's obviously room for improvement there, and the shot's not going down. The field goal percentage is really struggling at the moment, but I think that
397
turns around. Yeah, and that's unlike Karl Anthony Towns. Mitch Robinson obviously is playing a little bit more center minutes. Cat is still starting as center. Robinson's coming off the bench and playing a little bit closer to the rim as well. So that does impact Karl Anthony Towns, but that's not a dramatic shift in the last 2 weeks. So I think it just comes down to that shot just not falling. Take advantage, because I think he turns this around really quickly.
And the New York Knicks are let's be honest, they are touted to be the one of the darlings of the Eastern Conference, especially when they were up against the Spurs. There was a lot of competition there. Hasn't been great. In fact, this is a bit of you could say it's rescinded in value, the New York Knicks. We always were curious about what was going to be like minutes-wise this season. That was the big question. What are the minutes going to be like this season when they're not playing basically, 52 minutes a night, even though a basketball game is only 48 minutes. So yet somehow Tom Thibodeau could find a way to milk every possible minute out of his players. In fact, the number one New York Knick is someone who you should check out your waiver wires for in the past 2 weeks. It's Miles McBride. Deuce McBride has been the 46th best player. And then Jalen Brunson, 58. Mikal Bridges from his second round value has gone back down to 66. OG Anunoby at 95. That's where he said, that says it was a buy low option. And they're all playing the minutes, but the field goal percentage is just all down on these guys. And Cat, the rebounds are a little bit down, like you said, with Mitch Robinson getting some run. The blocks are a thing of the past. The just doesn't happen. But this is, if he could get that field goal percentage back up over 450 even, 500, to his usual standard, he just skyrockets up incredibly in value, D-Mac.
Yeah, and I think the dynamic of the Knicks as well is going to change. Josh Hart is questionable for tonight, which is exciting for Josh Hart managers as well. But I think that actually may help just allow that synergy and the chemistry to build once again. So hopefully that does help Cat as well.
Synergy. One of your other guys talking about synergy and point guards returning is this guy, Bam Adebayo. Again, and a late second round, third round pick was generally expelled on him. This is his history in this league. He was taken in the fifth round. Now, this is only 10 teams, so probably fourth round value there. Second pick, 42nd overall. So you are probably looking in traditional leagues beginning of fourth round or end of third round value. We saw him going. Steve St. Pierre thought it was absolute value. He's got him in this league currently. But after missing a couple of games this season and coming back into the lineup, he really has struggled. And I was of the thinking that, they got pummeled, by the way, by Indiana today, absolutely killed. But I was thinking he would improve with Tyler Herro back in the lineup. But this is the window.
It is the window, and we haven't seen return on investment with that draft pick. And what did Steve get him at? Around the 40 mark. He's probably been around the 80th ranked guy in 9-cat as well. So definitely hasn't returned that value, but he's not returning that value even more so in the last fortnight as well. Tyler Herro has returned. Like you said, it hasn't really helped Bam Adebayo. They got pumped yesterday. Keller Ware is going to take a bit of a hit as well. And I think Nikola Jovic even played ahead of Ware at center as well, which is interesting to say the least as well, because we thought
that's
a top 50 for such a long time, but dynamics changed a bit. It's shifted.
Yeah, Spo just has no love for Keller Ware. He showed it out in the preseason. He got a lot of hype. He was one of those guys we saw him climbing up our draft boards. We saw him well down at the back because we heard about the talk that Spo doesn't like him. Then he explodes in the preseason, looks fantastic. Like there was that game, like what was it, the threes? Like it was 8, it was something ridiculous, and his shot just looked smooth. But I don't think that he plays well beside Bam, and Spo's always got Bam's back. And so I thought that was probably going to be the key to unlock it. And then it didn't happen. And the last game was postponed with Chicago. So I was like, we dodged a bullet on Kelly Ware value then. I said, sell him now quickly, like while you can, just get him out of your lineups as fast as you can for those who were probably holding on to some hope. But the last one, minutes down, Bam Adebayo's value down. As you said, he has drifted well off in the last couple of weeks. One of the other guys making your list is, this is like, have you just been, I know that you love your point guards. Have you just been watching what of center action lately, D-Mac? Is it just
new year, new me? Maybe that's what it is. I've gone away from the point guards. Now I still love my point guards, but Ayton is another big that I've been looking at as a potential buy low as well. Just in the last 2 weeks, again, the shot isn't hitting. The field goal percentage, which does elevate his fantasy value in 9-cat, is just not there at the moment. The points are pretty inconsistent as well. I think Ayton again, once they get their full team back together, your boy Reeves is still to come back as well. I think that'll help. He's not going to be a world beater. I don't know if he's going to be a top 59-cat guy rest of season, but he can be a lot better than what he currently is.
And we saw him being a top 59-cat guy. Like at the beginning of the season, we actually liked DeAndre Ayton. We actually saw some value from him, but he has been absolutely woeful in the last few weeks. He's not even rated like in the top 200 of players almost in the last couple of weeks. Like that's how bad this guy is. Like he has been like, it just feels like he is horrible. You know what I mean? Like this is a guy, like, he just feels horrible. Like it's kind of like buyer beware for the Los Angeles. If you're a Lakers fan in chat, please just say right now, like, were you guys, did Lakers fans talk themselves into, hey, look at DeAndre, like look at him play. He's really good. Like this is a bargain basement player. He's been the 164th best player in the last couple of weeks. Like that is not great.
It's not great, but Lakers Ayton is a lot better than Trailblazers Ayton. So we'll say that he's
at least he plays games.
At least he plays games. He's really steady, or typically he's known for being so steady. And we've seen that throughout the rest of the season. But in the last fortnight, we haven't seen that. The minutes have been just all over the shop, and the shooting hasn't been there as well. Again,
this is what we like. This is what we liked when LeBron wasn't in the lineup early on to start. And then when you see LeBron's turn, like this was up into here, up into, there you go. I'm going to call it the Phoenix date on the 14th of December. I thought this guy, a couple of down games here, but, you know, almost some double doubles. The blocks have been around this net every now and then this year. But then after that, he was out for those couple games after the injury, and he hasn't topped 20 points again since. And he's been getting some looks. As you said, the field goal percentage has been woeful, but he's also not getting a lot of attempts. Like he hasn't topped more than 10 shot attempts a game, more than once in his past 10 outings. And if you look back to the beginning of the season, there was a little bit more coverage there for this guy. So it's almost like, and I know JJ Redick has come out as well, that we need to get him more involved in the offense early on to get his confidence up and get his motor. But it's not going to happen when you're only getting 6 shots a game and getting 24 minutes in that game against the Milwaukee Bucks as well. You mentioned the Heat earlier on. I've put this guy on my radar. He's just returned, and it's been a bit of a pickup game, but he has been dropped by 4% of owners in the league. So he's only 40% rostered. So I think when some guys like this, he's borderline. I think the homie Hackers Jr., Jaime, this is a kind of fringe difference maker in a league for me, that you want to kind of either pick up off your wire or just throw a waiver wire kind of guy trade out there and see what you can get, D-Mac.
Yeah, I think so. And he's outside the top 150 in 9-cat. So he is going to be one of those waiver wire guys on and off of waivers. But we've seen in stretches throughout the season that he's a must roster guy at times. But right now he's not. So you may actually be able to get him 40% rostered, but you may actually be able to get him off of waiver wires at the moment. But I still think he's a solid player, but he's not a world beater. Perhaps you can throw your worst player at him, particularly in a deep league, and go and acquire him.
And that's the thing you want to do. Like sometimes we're not looking for world beaters in trades. We're looking for those fringe guys that give us stats to consolidate areas. If you can get a guy with an extra 7 rebounds, and that's like something that you need, and you're getting up a guy with 2, and your points, like you're well, and maybe you went all points heavy. Maybe you went sexy. Maybe you got your Colin Sextons of the world out there. You're not going to be getting your 7 rebounds, but you need to just slowly stop that up a little bit. Well, can I introduce you to the world of Homie Hackers Jr.? Because this might be a guy that you switch one of your dudes in your team for that you're still really strong in, but you get those other ones that can be the difference makers. And I think it's that type of the season in week 13 that we need to start making for difference makers. And this guy, I think, is an absolute massive difference maker. So much so that even 1% of his owners, he was 95% rostered in Yahoo leagues. And Kayla, I think this is like a Kayla Fonte shout out. Like, every time we mention a Toronto Raptor, pour one out, we have to do a shot of maple syrup. I think that should be the new thing that we do. He's been the 136th best player in 9 category leagues in the past 2 weeks. Now, we have not seen him return like his peak this year, but we've also seen him be like a top 40 player. But what he does, especially if you're hunting assists, if you're looking to get some threes in your team and some more points, this is a guy we can target. Now, it's hard to give up those assists when you see but people might be sweating the field goal percentage and also the free throw percentage, D-Mac. When you start to get a couple 500 games, people start to get a little bit antsy.
Yeah, he's renowned for being pretty steady from the free throw line, but that field goal percentage has really come down, and it hasn't been good all season, but it's below 40% in the last 7 days as well. But Emmanuel quickly, he had the opportunity to have an explosive game in the last one. No Scotty Barnes, and no Brandon Ingram as well. So I think they do return tonight. They're questionable at the moment, but Emmanuel quickly is just not shooting the ball very well. And I think everything else is pretty on par with where he's been at the rest of the season. It's just the shooting, similar to what we were talking about with some of the other guys earlier.
And he has started to show an improvement in his shooting in the past week. He is up to 422 from the field. In the last month, he has been 456. And if you look at his season, he is 429 right now. So he is starting to make some incremental improvements in that right now. So that's what we're hoping. He can get back up to those career norms, because if people are looking at this last 2 weeks and this last month, this isn't good, but we can creep him back in here to the 430, 440s. And that's the point guard that we can associate that with, especially if you're a team that may have punted field goal percentage. His value is incredibly high. Also, if you're very high in field goal percentage, you can afford possibly to absorb it with a guy like Emmanuel quickly, just slightly, to really help, especially by way of getting some extra assists into your team, D-Mac. Is it time to go into is it time to do just sell highs? I think it's time. I think we just do some sell highs.
He's heating up.
Now, this is our last one here of our buy lows. It was Emmanuel quickly, but sell high. Have you met my friend John? There's also going to be the next 3 players. There's all a theme, and I want you to see if you can guess it after this one. Geez, how good has John Collins been lately? This guy has been on, and this is what I want to say. I almost added him the other day, and I didn't, because Steve beat me to him by a heartbeat. But you've even had him, and I didn't actually know that you picked him up and dropped him, but it was well worth it, because he was drafted by you. You drafted him in this.
I drafted him, dropped him, picked him back up, dropped him again. He was horrific, but recently he's just turned things around. Absolutely. And I think our league, is it a 10-teamer? I think it's a 10-teamer as well. So I wasn't going to just sit back and wait for this. Unfortunately, it's happened. And I feel great for Steve St. Pierre, who's
this is
flying at the moment. But yeah, John Collins is also flying.
For me, this is an absolute the 4 steals, the 4 blocks game, like 8 stocks in a game. Even in Supercoach value, this guy's huge. 37 minutes in the win today. It was by 6. This is prime John Collins. This is the full John Collins love affair story. Like, if you're a John Collins owner in chat, please tell us, because this is, here we go. He has been such fun to watch too. Here we go. G'day, mate. The Baptist. Absolutely. It has been absolutely crazy. Here we go. This is what you mean. Mahi sold him in one of my leagues early to a Lakers fan who was buying the hype. There you go. My guy. That is exactly what you should have done with DeAndre Ayton, by the way, all your notifications. And John Collins actually looks fun and engaged now. Like, he legit looks engaged with the Clippers, and he didn't. And the Derrick Jones injury has opened that up for him. So if he's doing this, I just think it's prime sell high territory, because this is a guy who was 100% on your waivers. So if you were getting anyone back, even a top 75 guy, I think it's time just to move on him, like, straight away. And I didn't even know that you were the case study for this. This is like the player profiles from our league. He was horrific. And I saw him dropped in a 200-person league.
Yeah, I
Like,
probably wouldn't have gone that far, but in a 10-teamer, absolutely. But it's great to see him really turn things around. Sell high moment as well because Vica Zubac has just come back from injury.
yep.
He played a fair bit last night as well, but that ramp up as well will limit the time that JC or John Collins will spend closer to the rim. We know that Atlanta, John Collins was probably the most elite version of John Collins. We're seeing glimpses of that here at the moment, but again, it's a sell high moment.
I would like to introduce you to my friend Utah Jazz John Collins from last year, who was decided to actually care about every single thing that he had ever done for short times, and yet when he was even second round value, no one could trust it to save his life. Like no one could trust it to save his life. But can I have actually mentioned to my other friend from the Los Angeles Clippers, the number one player in fantasy basketball right now, DMAC, and this is my friend Kawhi. Have you met the fun guy?
I heard he's a fun guy. Yeah, and I know that he's one of your guys.
He is. And you know I'm mad in every league that, by the way, I was offered him for a bag of chips earlier this season. I was trying to get LeBron on a buy low. And I was like, come on. From this guy, Chris, I was like, come on, man. Like, he's not back. It's sciatica. He's going to miss games. He's going to miss back-to-backs. We know it's going to happen. Like, he's like, yeah, I know, but I don't want to give you your favorite player. I'm like, come on. He's like, how about I give you Kawhi instead for the same offer? And I was like, I'm into that. I'm into that. Like I could do that. It was like Keyshawn George and Mark Williams, I think, or something early on when he was out and he was injured. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll do that. And then it got announced that he was playing the next day, and he's like, oh, I want to see how he goes. And he's gone right.
It's gone very well. And Kawhi's playing back-to-backs, and their health is looking good. We knew coming into the season had a pretty much a full preseason, which boded well for the season ahead. And yeah, he has been just that first round guy. It's been wonderful, but it's a sell high moment. Do we trust him rest of season, Matty G?
Well, that's the question. Like, is it a sell high, or do we just enjoy this? Do we just like do we embrace this ramp up of whatever we're getting from him? Or like the question really is, asking for a friend, what do you do if you're a Kawhi Leonard owner? Like, seriously, like, do you want to lose this goodness, or do you just want to be like, this is great? Like, what
I've had
would you do?
similar questions around Jalen Johnson going, oh, Jalen Johnson, you know, he's been so good. Do we sell high on him? This was before the Trey Young trade, by the way. And I said, look, it would have to be for an absolute bona fide first round guy, nothing less. Otherwise, you write it out. And maybe it's a similar situation for Kawhi Leonard, because it's great guns. It's good to watch, and it's fantastic to see Kawhi at his elite best.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he really is at his elite best, and that's what we love. Like, we love seeing Kawhi Leonard play. So I don't want to rush out and make any drastic changes, but I am skeptical that we can actually make it last for this long, because I don't know if we can, DMAC, but I sure as hell want to just enjoy the ride of Kawhi Leonard while I can. And unreal run from Kawhi so far. That's right. I traded him early for Şengün, and and it's stinging now. And so be it. Like, that would have been an absolutely fine trade. But he's also the number one player in fantasy right now, because our traditional number one player is out. Our second player has been in and out. We've got Shea resting some games. So it's just been incredible to see him. So the question is, do you sell high? Well, you better be getting someone solid in a first rounder back, because I wouldn't be trusting anything less than that right now, in my opinions. Now, 100%. I mentioned John Collins.
I'll ask you a question then. Are you taking Kawhi Leonard, your boy Kawhi Leonard, or a first rounder, let's say a Cade Cunningham or a Tyrese Maxey?
Geez. So, taking Tyrese Maxey or Cade. You're a bastard. You know, because you know my heart, DMAC. So you know who I am as a person, and you know I like both of those players.
Yep. If
I
didn't have that injury history, you're taking Kawhi all the time. But also the Clippers, they're not in the playoff or play-in spot at the moment. I think they may.
Well, they can't lose. Well, they can't lose their pick, because who gets it? Who gets the pick? Is it OKC get their pick if they suck? I'm sure it's OKC get their pick this year.
Is that the Paul George trade?
It's the Paul George trade. I'm 100%.
Right. Okay. So they're playing to win, which could bode well for Kawhi as well. But if things don't go well, maybe they look after the asset, even though they don't have that pick. I don't know. There's a fair bit to go.
I think I might take Tyree. I might take either one of those two guys. Cade hasn't been a picture of health. This wrist injury, we know that they can linger. I'll say Maxey, yes. I'll say Cade maybe, but I'll say Kawhi for me is probably my gut shot hold, because my gut shot right now tells me I do not trust two players in fantasy. And I do not, because that is, I do not trust one team that they play on, DMAC. Who are the team? If I'm talking two players who are really high right now in the rankings, let me just tell you, I'll tell you their rankings and see if you can. Right. It's like it's like a guess who. It's like, we're flipping down names.
I don't have anything in front of me, by the way. I'll just look at you.
Feel free to grab a pen paper. It's fine. We can write it down.
Yeah, okay.
The one player could be considered one of the biggest breakouts of this year. I'll tell you that one. So one of the players on this team could be considered. People in chat right now, if you're listening, like, what is G talking about? Think if you can guess. Like, honestly, one of the players is considered possibly one of the biggest breakouts, or like leapers, whatever we're going to call it, rises in fantasy stocks. The second player is probably one of the biggest bounce back players this year.
Okay, it's Nets. It's Michael Porter Jr. and Claxton. No.
But you're on the right thing. I wouldn't say bounce back was Michael Porter Jr. He's like going. I wouldn't say. I think bounce back. Claxton was the back. The breakout Michael Porter Jr. Oh, it's a superstar. Similar tanking-ish feel to it. You're in the wheelhouse, D-Mac. You're in the wheelhouse, and I'll give you this. They're in the Western Conference, and they're known for random problems. There you go.
Jazz.
There you go. There you go. Jazz. Western Conference taking two.
Keontae and Lowry, I'm guessing.
Keontae and Lowry are the exact two players who I am talking about right now, because these guys I am saying sell high on whatsoever, and this is one of the reasons why. Game time decision rest again for Lowry Marketing. Now, we've seen it peppered right throughout, but this guy has been absolutely explosive this year. But they will go in their tank mode, and it's sooner rather than later. And points are the sexy girl at the party, and he has been incredible. He's shooting. Everything is up for this. Now, it's like the question before with Jalen Johnson. You had the question like, what do I do if Jalen Johnson's healthy? Like, we're just waiting. Like, we're putting this guy in like he must get injured at some point box, like Kawhi Leonard. But then if he doesn't, then we've sold someone who's really good. We do know that these guys in the Utah Jazz are not going to be great down the stretch. We know they could have been.
Terrible. 50-point loss.
Horrible. 50-point loss.
Williams minus 60.
I didn't think it was possible for that to happen. I actually believe firmly that if I was to play an NBA basketball game, I would not be able to achieve a minus 60. That is rare. Maybe because I'd be too petrified to shoot in the game.
I was going to say probably because we're not getting the minutes that Cody Williams got last night.
We're not going to get the minutes. Yeah. But like, there's got to be like, maybe you could get maybe you're a minus 55 and I'm a minus, but by a 60, I just purely incredible stuff by the brother who's not Jalen. But Lowry Marketing right here and Keontae George are two sell high options. Now, Keontae George is considering, I don't know how he's 84% rostered, even with points leagues. He did not have a very good game. And why I say sell high is because I'm just seeing it taper off. In fact, if you start to look at his season stats, he actually has started to taper down in the last few weeks. Now, if you look at his stats, here we go, his recent averages, you can see that his field goal percentage has dropped down, and his free throw attempts for me, which is one of the things that really buoyed his value early on in the season, DMAC, they've been more than halved. In the last month, he was at 6.8. He was actually averaging the league best free throw attempts per game within the first couple of weeks of the season. That's come down in the last week to only 3 attempts a game. Now, still, the percentage is elite at plus 900, but the points are down, because if you take away a 900 shooter 5 times, there's an extra 5 points basically you're giving up, 4 or 5 points every single game that this guy's not getting. But it's going to be sooner or later that they just shut them down. Like, he's too good almost. Like, it's almost like, hey, Isaiah, like, could you just go and run the team out there? Because Keontae's too good.
Yeah, and we saw that a little bit last night. Isaiah Collier got a great run down the stretch just because it was such a blowout of massive proportions. But yeah, perhaps Keontae has been too good and they're going to look after their asset. Same goes for Lowry Markkanen, obviously. And we've seen this play out several times in the past. So definitely a sell high, but maybe you might just want to wait for a bit of a better game from Keontae, because I loved playing against him yesterday because he had a horrific shooting night, and that just didn't help the Jazz cause early days.
100%. And when you start to look at this guy as well, on the year, he has been the 39th best player. Huge for him per game value. In the last week, he's been the 121st. In the last 2 weeks, he's been the 90th. And on the last month, he's been the 14th. So if you start to put it into perspective, he has had a bit of a decline recently. You wait for those good games to come back and you'd be like, yeah, no, he's doing great. And then that would be the move to sell. One of my other curious ones here is, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls and sell high, because this is rife for the picking. And let's start with one of our old favorites here, Nikola Vucevic. Now, a little bit of a 28-minute, it was a massive win blowout against Dallas. Like, they just dropped the hammer on the Dallas Mavericks. They looked hapless and pointless. And we're talking about Gafford or Sissy right now and all that kind of jazz. Jazz. But Vucevic only needed to play 28 minutes in that. Excellent once again. 2 blocks, a steal, 3 assists, double-double from the guy. He has been sell high for the whole reason that the number one option is still out, and that is Josh Giddey. So in your mind, on this team, I've got Ayo Dosunmu and possibly even Trey Jones, but probably Ayo Dosunmu as well here for me as sell highs, because today's game is probably one of those outliers when you start to see a couple of 20-point games back on back and a couple of threes, threes fall in a game. The 4 steals especially, very sexy from Ayo Dosunmu. Like, I think these guys are prime sell high targets, both Vucevic and Dosunmu.
Dosunmu is definitely a must-add guy at the moment. Difficult to sell high on a guy that hasn't seen that over a longer period of time. Kobe White's obviously just ramping back up, and it's good to see him. Had a bit of a nicer ball game last night as well. But Vucevic, my stance on Vucevic, and I said it in the preseason as well. I wasn't very high on him, and he's had a pretty solid season, but I do worry about the Bulls and Vucevic as well. If things don't go very well, then he's got the expiring contract, and I think he would be the first one to be shipped out of the Chicago Bulls.
This is what keeps us up at night, worrying about the contract and life decisions of Nikola Vucevic, who's been the 20th best player in fantasy basketball over the last couple of weeks. And as you said, I think it can be a little bit hard to move guys like Ayo Dosunmu, just for the one reason that, like, they're waiver ads. But you say Giddey's out, and also Ayo Dosunmu was a must-roster guy last year, and we saw him absolutely towards the end of seasons take over and become like a top 50, top 60 player. So we are looking to get a guy on our roster, especially with where he's owned across Yahoo leagues right now. There we go. You can see that he is already ramping up. If you are in Yahoo leagues especially, 3% in the past day, missed the last game, 26% rostered. In fact, he was less rostered last week as well, so he continues to improve since his return. And again, it was a little bit of a slow ramp up as well, like out, he got injured, come back in, and then he kind of like, what's going on? And then it starts to happen and it starts to click. And this is what we start to see: the high assist, the improved field goal percentage, the 3s start to fall. So it does become tasty. But if you are one of the people who do have Ayo Dosunmu rostered right now, he's also a really nice complement in a trade package, DMAC. So I think he's one of those guys that we can put with someone else to get a higher return back.
That's key. I think a 1-for-1 is really difficult to execute unless you're in a deeper league. But if you were to put him in a package, I think that's easier to execute.
Now, if you do have any questions, we could do some fun with friends. Make sure that you drop in chat what you want to know the value is on any players. One of your things that I love on X is your most traded players every single day. You start to look at trades and players and how they're moving. And a bit of a back end on this one right now on the trade market. Yeah, old trade market. I thought we'd rank a couple of trades for a bit of fun right now. We've got Kevin Porter Jr. for Vucevic talking about it, and that's what came to mind. We've got one of the guys we mentioned. Who would you rather right now? Would you rather KPJ or there's no way I can make that rhyme. Vucevic? Vucevic.
That sounds like a recipe or a lovely dish. I'm probably going to lean towards Kevin Porter Jr. Scrumptious. Probably KPJ at this stage, but there are a lot of rumors around potential point guards moving to the Bucks as well, trying to help Giannis, and Giannis is playing really hard, which is great to see. I'm liking what Kevin Porter Jr. is offering at the moment. So I'm probably leaning KPJ at the moment, but it is a close one, and it may depend on what you need in a category situation. In a points, also interesting. Where are you going with this one, Matty J?
Look, I'm probably going KPJ rest of season, especially if I'm looking for those point guard minutes. He has been great. He was someone that I remember the conversation at the beginning of the year. Like, I remember us were doing our mock drafts, being like, who's going to start? And you were the very first person in any analyst that said, I like Ryan Rollins. I'm grabbing him late in drafts, wherever. You were the number one person. I doff my fantasy cap, sir, to being on the Ryan Rollins train early on. So I'm just going to back you on that one and go KPJ again. You seem to have something in you about point guards and little men.
Bucks point guards, yeah.
I was Bucks point guards,
big fan of Rollins. Even saw glimpses of him because I am in a dynasty, 30 deep dynasty. Now I've seen glimpses of him in the past, and he's shown flashes, but yeah, never to this extent that we've seen this season.
Now, this is an interesting one here as well because it does feature one Aodosunmu, Peyton Pritchard, Aodosunmu, and Cooper Flagg for Mr. Jaeger, Kevin Porter Jr. as well, and Zach LaVine rest of the season. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I am probably torn emotionally to this one. Where Peyton Pritchard, he has my heart. Oh, Peyton.
Yeah. I'm probably going Pritchard side with Flagg.
Yeah.
Because I can't trust LaVine on the Kings. KPJ, we do like, but again, those rumors around point guards going to the Bucks. And Yeoman, yes, as much as I love him, and he's got some great upside, particularly with the tanking nets, he's not a proven commodity at this stage. And you may end up dropping Aodosunmu on the other side, but I think getting Pritchard and Cooper Flagg is the way to go.
The next one is one that I want to have a quick chat about because it is one that if this has happened in your league, the group chat is on fire and people are getting their feelings hurt about it. This is someone who basically says, you know what, I pretty much cooked my draft. Hey, I pretty much cooked my draft, or I don't like my team. I think they're all bums and I want to trade them because this is one of the largest trades I have seen in It's like a swingers.
Let's go and swap.
They've just thrown their collective fantasy keys into the bloody fishbowl and be like, I'm just going to take some players out, man. I've got Kawhi Leonard, Yusuf Nurkic, who is, by the way, also right now. This is the ultimate sell high trade right now. This is guys on Kawhi Leonard and Yusuf Nurkic, who's been a top 20 player.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, like in the past couple of weeks. This is like a massive sell high trade. So let's just see if they've landed the plane on this one. Because I would hesitate to guess that I do not know if this is the person that has sent the trade or received the trade. Kawhi, Nurk, Allen, Miles Bridges alone, Anthony Simons, Darius Garland, who I know that you're in love with, bat your eyelids a little bit there, Andrew Nemhard and Isaiah Collier, for Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Dylan Brooks, Cam Thomas, Brandon Benchboy Williams, Colin, I only have a job because Jalen Green, it hasn't come back to the lineup full-time, Gillespie. Coy and Murray, I like to flash my boils. And Maxime, my name sounds like a French car, Renault. I'm taking the Kawhi side of this trade every single day of the week.
Yep, definitely. 8 days a week, I'm taking that one on the right-hand side.
It's not even 8 days a week. Have you been coached by Tom Thibodeau? You just making extra minutes up? Straight up, Chet Holmgren for Jaylen Brown. This is an interesting one because I said Chet Holmgren was a bit of a sell high right now, especially with Isaiah Hartenstein out. Jaylen Brown is phenomenal, but again, I don't think a great category leagues player all of the time. Definitely going to go Chet Holmgren side on this one.
I think Holmgren for a category, but I don't mind Jaylen Brown in a points league. And in certain builds, if you're punting free throws and punting you have to be punting a fair bit. And I actually have Jaylen Brown in a team that I am punting that suits him, and he's doing great guns at the moment. Jaylen Brown putting up monster games as well. There's a few rumors around Jason Tatum returning towards the end of the season, and Boston are actually playing some great basketball at the moment, so expect them to play some playoffs.
They are expecting to play some playoffs right now. Next one up on the trade rankings we can see down here is Daniel Gafford for Max Christie. Rest of the season, we do have to go with Daniel Gafford 100% right now. And also, the big question is this I've got for you, because I know that you're invested in this somewhat as well. Kyrie Irving. Now, with Anthony Davis being out for this longer period of time, do you think we see Kyrie back sooner or later or not at all this season? Because that's my big curious thing. The elephant in the room for me in Dallas isn't AD being injured again, because we know this happens. Unfortunately, it's his hand and it's AD. But for me, it's the impact that it could have on possibly Kyrie's return. Do you think we see him or not see him this season?
Look, I don't think we see much of him, if at all, because of the situation with the Mavs. And look, they're not going to be playing playoffs this season, I don't think, unless Cooper Flag just does something remarkable. I just don't think they're trending in the right direction. So, yeah, Kyrie Irving is not a guy that I think I have to have, but if you do have that spare IL spot, there is no harm in having him stashed there. I just haven't heard enough about him recently for me to go and run to the waivers and go and pick him up.
Hey, we've had a bit of a question as well from Giannis Sack. Giannis T Sack. Is he teabagging some? He's Sack. I'm unsure what he's. I do not mean to insult the name, but all I can read is that when I see Giannis and then T Sack, I'm like, teabag? Is he teeing his sack 9,230 times on somebody? If he is, yes, that is very Giannis. And my answer for this one in this is Mo Wagner, 100%. Love a bit of Flame and Mo Wagner action. I do like Grant Williams. I think we did see some good work for him. But again, he does play on the Charlotte Hornets. So for me, and shout out this one, your updates every day, league-winning content with your updates. That's what it's about, league winning.
My boy, thank you. Thank you so much. I think he's one of my best followers out there.
He is. You say his name better than I do. So you want to go for it? Mahi.
Let us know. Let us know.
Mayhi. Maybe it's Mayhi. May I say hi? May you say hi? Someone's going to say hi at some point. The next trade down here is LeBron James for Cade Cunningham. Oh, my God. Greetings from Greece, my brother. What's up? So it could be, I could just be saying, is it a silent T? So maybe it's just Giannis Sack. There you go. LeBron James for Cade Cunningham. Do you reckon that's getting some backs up in the league somewhere right now? That the group chat's a little bit like. I
think so. Yeah. Look, I'm not all about. I hate vetoes.
You hate
I
vetoes.
hate trade vetoes, but that's one where you're like, oh, what sort of goings on is going in the background there? But yeah, I'm not a fan of vetoes, but that one is close.
Now we're going to put ourselves on game. This wasn't a part of the scripted episode, by the way. We're just doing it because we're not going too long yet. No, and that's one of the reasons why we love doing this stuff together, because we just have fun with it. Karl Anthony Towns. These are trades for him. So when we're talking about like the buy low and sell high, we know people say, "Oh, what do I do?" We get that a lot, man, on like Twitter and in the comments. Like, what do I do it for? Like, what do I do this trade for? Well, this can give you a blueprint. And if you ever want to ask someone online or one of our analysts, whether it's DMAC, myself, Kingy, Bezbris, Robin, like Josh, anyone, we all be like, "Have you looked yet?" Because we start to see trades like this that are probably more in the room. Like Karl Anthony Towns for James Harden, Towns and McDaniels for Denny Advia, Towns and Butler for Tyrese Maxey. We start to see some trades like this to give us a bit of a reasonable expectation. Someone here is obviously off the New York Knicks entirely or trading to a Knicks fan, because Barnes and Harden. Now, this is a name we've seen twice now. Do you see this a lot? Look at this. There's a lot of James Harden, Karl Anthony Towns action happening here. Do you see? This is.
Yeah, both interestingly are buy lows at the moment. I think James Harden is in a bit of a quiet spot. A bit better last night, but the shooting is still quite, around that 40% mark, which it's been all season. But yeah, still a bit of a buy low for Harden as well.
Giannis for Karl Anthony Towns was one. Towns and Garland has been peppered in here a little bit as well. But in package deals, there's not a lot of 1-for-1 straight ups, but we are seeing, now this is an interesting one as well, Towns and Giddey for Cade and Barnes. I think I'd do that. I would do Cade and Barnes for Giddey and Towns, and you know that I like my Giddey.
Yeah, I'm taking Cade's side. I love what Scotty Barnes has done this season as well. Big bounce back here for Scotty.
In response, it's Mahi boys. It's how it's said. No, of course we stress. Can't compete with Greece. Oh, from Brisbane. Mahi, whereabouts in Brizzy are you from, mate? I'm a Gold Coast boy, born and bred. I'd love to know this one. I love every time I watch the Bluey.
Massive Rockets fan as well. Huge Rockets fan.
Is he? Mate, every time that I watch the Bluey episode of if you're a dad, and shout out to anyone and shout if you're a dad out there, or just maybe you like cartoons and watch Bluey, there's an episode where they go to get gelato by South Bank. And that's like one of my sweet spots that I just like. When I visit it with my kids, I'm like, I'm going to take you to see where Bluey was, where they get the gelato, because like that is my absolute hub. Like absolute. And yeah, food. I'll talk to you about it, Mahi, all the time. But love that one. G'day from Brisbane to you as well. Good sort. Now, if you haven't done yet, if you are watching on YouTube, you're probably on the NBA Fantasy in NBA page. If you're not, if you're watching on my X or on DMAX X right now on our live feed, you can make sure that you go into NBA Fantasy in 5 and like and subscribe. We're going to announce a very special announcement 1 month out. So we're 3 days away from it going up there. It's going to be our Valentine's Day giveaway, because you know my Valentine's Day theory, DMAC, about what I think about the trade deadline and what happens after Valentine's Day. The trade deadline is February the 5th. Is it? It's not. It's February 5.
Is it February 5?
February 5. I'm pretty sure it's February 5. I like to think that what starts to happen in the NBA is it starts to get shaken up a little bit around February. And then what we see is these players who've come into teams or out of teams start to make their impacts in their other teams. And so when we get that, we can start to get a better sense of analysis. There we go.
It is
here in Greece. Oh, there we go. We are stressed about Giannis's next team, but that man has loyalty in his DNA, unfortunately. 100%. 100%. I don't think you need to stress, because he's still going to play for Greece. And he's like, you're going to have like 87 Antetokounmpo brothers playing for your team, just by the way. Like, if this someone's cousin is playing for you guys, like, we don't care, as long as, like, we love Giannis. We love his personality. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch in January 14 up into to February 14. Our act of love, our act of giveness, is we're going to give away a Josh Giddey signed basketball for someone who follows the page.
And you got this in the preseason from Josh Giddey himself.
I've got it. Do you want me to? I wonder if I search in my photos on my phone, Josh Giddey. If I just search it live, I wonder if my phone recognizes who Josh Giddey is. Siri is very dark. Josh Giddey. Here we go. Throwback. No, it doesn't, but it does do the post that I did. Here we go. Basketball player. Basketball store. This is you've got to really search things very quickly. But this was signed in the preseason on Josh Giddey's, let's say, media tour here in Australia. We secured ourselves one signed Josh Giddey basketball, and we also got something very special as well. We have a package for Unlock. Now, Unlocked is, I mentioned this with Kingy last time. Unlock, if you've never heard of it before, is basically your access to grails, left, right, and center. And when I'm talking about grails, I'm talking about the shoes from Back to the Future. Like, that's a thing. Grail, here we go. I'll bring up the website. You can have a look at it. This is what we're giving away. We're giving away a premium membership to this. Your chance to win a Rolex watch. So this is the Submariner Hulk. It is coming up very, very soon. This is the project. This is all the stuff that they are giving away. So they give away things like the shoes from Back to the Future. And if we want to unlock the vault, you can see some of the incredible prizes that they give away, including right now an Hermes Birkin bag, a Rolex watch. There's Tiffany & Co. rings here. They've given away a set of PSA graded 1 to 9 Charizard figures. They've included this, the LeBron James rookie card, and a whole bunch more stuff, including, like I said, Rolex watches, and one of the biggest ones they've ever given away. If we go down to the bottom, you've got to scroll all the way down. Tickets away to the NBA Finals. Now, for all you need to do is to make sure you like and subscribe for a start to our Fantasy in 5 NBA page, because we're going to continue over the course of this season and then ramp up to next year. And if you're starving, just like someone for information by here is Zach Eating News, I've got some for you. Giannis, I'm going to say Giannis's teabag sack. We do have some word on Edie. Apparently, he will possibly be returning next week. So there is room that he could be returning in week 13 towards the end of the week. Now, we know that they usually recall from the G League for the Memphis Grizzlies before they do anything else, but we are looking possibly for a return in Giddey, and I know that some sites even have him listed out for only the next 3 games as well. And funnily enough, we are possibly getting Josh Giddey back in the next week as well, towards the end of the week or early in the week after. So there are some very big players in fantasy coming back. D-Mac, I think we wrap it up, brother.
That's a wrap. Good relief with some of those guys coming back from injury as well. Because yeah, my team has been smashed at the moment, like a lot of others.
Mate, I just can't wait. I have one team. Should I show my team while I'm here? Like my I can literally share my injury woes. Here we go. I don't mind. I don't mind. If you want me to show yours, just say it. But you don't try and show another man's team. It's again because that can cause him to get in trouble with his wife. Hey, look, honey, I'm sorry, but Maddie showed my team to somebody else. 764 people watching my team right now on a public platform. I'm sorry, honey. This is my injuries right now. So when I can say that I'm monitoring the news on Josh Giddey and Zach Edey very heavily, I am, because I've got Hartenstein out right now. Jalen Green. Oh, here's a bit of an update on this one. Yeah, of course he's out. He's coming back. He's going to be back maybe next week, the week after. That's fine. Zach Edey, official word right here. Now he is out. Now he hasn't played, but it has been a month since we know this as well. So this has been listed as out, but apparently he's been doing training and some work around the facilities at Memphis. Josh Giddey and Austin Reeves out. Look at this. And there was someone else out today, Chris Stapps as well, by the way, just casually on my team, just killing me. And look who I grabbed. Look who I grabbed to be a man of my word. Yalman. There you go. Look at this beautiful bar. Look at this little rookie smug smile. Look at you.
I think there's going to be more from him as well later in the season. I think he's going to be a difference maker. Mentioned that on Twitter as well. So really exciting. His shot is just beautiful to watch as well. It's not like play, but plays was always nice to watch. But Yeoman, it's a pretty shot as well. So go and do yourself a favor and go and check it out. Some of his highlights.
And check out your highlights. Obviously, this is DMAC, NBA Fantasy Bible on Blue Sky, on Twitter, on wherever you can get it, and also subscribe to his YouTube page as well. I am at MBAG Wiz, Matty G. This is Fantasy in 5. Like and subscribe, do all the things. We'll give you updates on the competitions very soon. Thank you. Here we go. Yep, has been working. Saw a video of him yesterday shooting and grabbing boards. Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be hopefully back very, very soon. I'm very cautiously optimistic to see what happens with Jar going. And if Triple J goes as well, I think he could. If that does happen, I just think it's going to be an Edey feast to finish off the fantasy season. If they don't shut him down, please God, don't shut him down. I couldn't live with that one. Be well, take care, and you say your thing. You say your thing, D-Mac, about what's the thing that you say. Go say your bit. I like.
Let's go and win some legs. Let's go and win some legs.